It's time for Dodger Baseball. Live from Dodger Stadium, Prime Ticket presents the Dodgers as they take on the San Francisco Giants. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Monday evening to you, wherever you may be. Giants and Dodgers meeting game one of a three-game series. Also, their 10th meeting of the year. The Dodgers have a slight edge. They've won 5 of 9. Going to the mound for the Dodgers tonight, trying to hold on to first place, will be Clayton Kershaw. He's won 4 straight. He is 3-0 here at home in his last 5 starts and has pitched exceptionally well against San Francisco, despite the record this year of 1-2. On the mound for the Giants, making his first start of the year against the Dodgers, an equally talented left-hander, Madison Bumgarner, looking for his 14th win, coming off a complete game gem that he turned in against the Washington Nationals. We'll get to the ball game and a whole lot more coming up right after this.
Number 1, made in California in an actual aircraft hangar. Aerial coverage brought to you today by Hangar 1, made in California in an actual aircraft hangar. Moments away from Dodger baseball and first pitch, the Giants in town. What a series we expect to see here at Dodger Stadium. Let's get to our Hyundai keys to the game, and this game is about matchups, and we have a tremendous southpaw matchup. Madison Bumgarner of the Giants and Clayton Kershaw for the Dodgers, who has won his last 4 starts. Kenny Lofton, Steve Lyons, Patrick O'Neill, and Kenny, you touched on it in the pregame show, as did you, Steve. These are big games. You want to build on the momentum that you had on that road trip going to 7-3, but you're excited at the same time.
You know, at this point, there's one important thing the Dodgers have to learn at this point. You can't have no more letdowns during the year, because right now, starting with this series, this is going to be the biggest series, like I said earlier, but no more letdowns. from this point forward.
Since the All-Star break, the Dodgers have had the toughest schedule in the National League West, and they still have to go to Cincinnati. They have to go to Washington, D.C. St. Louis still comes out here again for another series, but they play their best baseball against good teams. This is a good team here tonight. You got to go get them.
Looking forward to this. Great pitching, and the Dodgers on a bit of a roll and in first place. You got the Dodgers and the Giants in a pennant race. Doesn't get any better.
You never had it so good.
The All-American Jack Combo at Jack in the Box for only $4.99 plus tax at participating stores. By San Manuel Indian Bingo and Casino, your place for summer excitement. By 76 Gas, we're on the driver's side. And by Time Warner Cable. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Monday evening to you, wherever you may be. Welcome to Dodger Stadium, Game 1 of a 3-game series between the Giants and the Dodgers. In the previous 9 played, the Dodgers have a slight edge. They've won 5 of the 9, and they take the field a half a game in front of San Francisco. Bruce Bochy's ball club has won 10 of its last 16. An interesting thing about Bochy's team, how different it is at home and on the road. For instance, when they are at home, they are the 3rd lowest in scoring runs. And when they're on the road, they are number 1. In fact, in the month of August so far, they've scored 108 runs. Here's the lineup for Bruce Bochy: Angel Pagan in center field, Marco Scutaro at second base, Pablo Sandoval Panda at third, and Buster Posey behind the plate. Hunter Pence in right field, Joaquin Arias the shortstop, Brandon Belt at first base, Gregor Blanco in left field, and the pitcher, left-hander Madison Bumgarner. On the mound for the Dodgers, Clayton Kershaw comes in with a record of 11-6. It's rather remarkable to look at his lifetime ERA against the Giants. It is less than 1.5. His ERA is 1.3. You would expect he'd be undefeated, untied, and unscored upon. Instead, he is 7-3, and we'll see how he goes tonight. He comes in with a 4-game winning streak, and he's won 3 starts here in his last 5 without a loss. Angel Pagan will be the first man to test him. Pagan hitting .282. Right-hand hitter holds up and takes ball 1. Pagan has been very busy. He's number 1 so far in the month. He has scored 17 runs, and he has 21 infield hits. The 1-0 pitch, he shows bunt and takes a strike. It is a very calm, cool 80 degrees here at Dodger Stadium at the start of the ball game. Thank goodness we have that lovely breeze coming in off the lake directly behind the fence in center field. Pagan takes a hook in there for a strike, and the count 1-2. If Pagan gets aboard, he runs well, but he has been picked off 5 times. Waiting on deck, Marco Scutaro hitting back of him. Kershaw ready, and the 1-2 pitch on the way, swung on and fouled off. So Clayton Kershaw trying to keep the Dodgers in first place, and of course the Giants trying to play musical chairs and get back in. Waiting in the on-deck circle, Scutaro with Sandoval and Posey to follow. 1-2 the count. Kershaw ready, and the 1-2 pitch on the way, swung on, high fly ball into left center and deep. Back goes Victorino. He's going to have to play it off the wall. Bounces behind him, and by the time he gets it back in, Pagan is into second base with a leadoff double. So Angel Pagan continues his hot hitting as he drives one to the gap. It short hopped the wall in left center. Victorino had it actually go behind him, but he recovered on a hop and got it back in. We were talking about the difference for this Giant ball club. They don't score at home. They score a ton on the road. When they're at home, Bruce Bochy's club has only 20 home runs. On the road, 57. Here comes Kershaw, a bunt up along first base. Over to get it is Rivera, makes the tag. And on the sacrifice by Scutaro, Pagan goes to third. So with 1 out and a runner at third, one of the really different hitters in baseball comes to the plate. And we're talking about the Panda. He is not only a switch hitter, he is ambidextrous, and he does everything wrong as far as hitting according to the count. As you can imagine, hitters' counts are when the hitter has the edge on the pitcher. 1 ball, no strikes, 2-0, 3-1, etc. Sandoval is the other way, and number 1 lookout on the first pitch. He swings about 44% of the time. Kershaw ready and delivers, and it's low and inside, ball 1, 1-0. So what does he do? If the count's 0-1, he's hitting .429. And so it goes. He is probably, without a doubt, the best hitter when behind in the count in the game. 1 ball and no strikes to Sandoval, who takes a little low, ball 2. Sandoval is hitting .295. He has 8 home runs, 36 runs batted in, hitting .306 right-handed and .291 left. Of his power, 7 of his 8 home runs left-handed. The 2-0 pitch on the way. Kershaw is set, ready, and fires, and it's a line drive right at Victorino. Tagging up is Pagan. Here comes the throw. Pagan will score easily, and the Giants are on the board, leading 1-0. So Pagan doubles, Scutaro sacrifices, that's the key, and Sandoval picks him up. For Sandoval, that would be his 37th run batted in. Remember, he missed quite a few games. So Kershaw in a little bit of a hole here, and now the hottest hitter in the game since the All-Star break, Buster Posey. He's not only hitting .330, but he's been tougher than that as he swings, doesn't get the first pitch, and they count 0-1. Since the All-Star break, Buster Posey is hitting .424. Normally, he gets deep into the count. He averages better than 4 pitches in at bat. Strike 1, fastball is swung on and missed. Fastball up And just like that, the count goes 0-2. He's a pretty good hitter with 2 strikes. In fact, they break it down. He's had 49 of his hits this year with a 2-strike count against him. The strike 2 pitch, Kershaw lets it fly. Strike 3 call. Fastball at the knees, outside corner. Down goes Posey. But the Giants get a run. Pagan doubles. Sandoval picks him up with a fly ball. 1-0 San Francisco. A double, a very important sacrifice, and then the sacrifice fly. And the Dodgers now trying to break the seal on the homestand on a positive note. And here's the way they stack up. Shane Victorino in left field, Mark Ellis at second base, and Matt Kemp in center field. Hanley Ramirez hits cleanup at short. Andre Ethier in right field. Juan Rivera at first. Luis Cruz at third base. A.J. Ellis behind the plate, and Clayton Kershaw on the mound. On the mound for the Giants for the first time this year against the Dodgers, Madison Bumgarner out of Lenoir in North Carolina. Big country boy is 6'4" and 220. With all of it, he's only 23 years old. And Bumgarner trying to win his 14th tonight. He has a record of 13-7. He is like the Giant team in reverse. Where the Giants don't score at home, he's 8-1. Where the Giants score a ton on the road, he is 5-6. And in his career against the Dodgers, 4-2. One other thing about Madison, he has allowed 18 home runs, 15 of the 18 on the road. Meanwhile, the Giants pull up the corners as Victorino checks in. Shane batting .261. Bumgarner ready, and the first pitch, a high fly ball to deep left field. Back goes Blanco to the track at the wall and makes the catch for the out. Blanco all the way, had nowhere to go, and he just did have enough room to make the catch. So just like that, 1 pitch, 1 out, and the batter now will be Mark Ellis. So Mark Ellis hitting .262. 4 home runs, 23 runs batted in, 4 RBIs, a season high yesterday. And the first pitch to him is off the plate, ball 1, 1-0. Looking at the Dodgers and what they did against Bumgarner, you have to really go back to last year. The 1-0 pitch, fastball in there. Dodgers had 1 home run against them last year. Juan Rivera hit it. Matt Kemp hitting .308 against him. Rivera hitting .429 against him, but again from last year. Breaking ball low and inside. 2-1 the count. Mark Ellis with Matt Kemp on deck. Bumgarner out of a stretch. Left-handed comes back with a pitch swung on and fouled outside of third. and carries up into the seats, and a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Ellis with 4 home runs, 23 runs batted in. He had 241 on the road trip. And the 2-2 pitch is swung on and missed, and down he goes. By the way, Madison Bumgarner is 8th in the league. He has 151 strikeouts. Clayton Kershaw in the strikeout department has 165. So here now is Matt Kemp. Kemp struggling a bit on the road trip. He's hit .324 since the All-Star break. He's had a 1 home run every 15 and a half at-bats, thereabouts. He has 17 and a total of 51 runs batted in. Bumgarner out of a high set. Left-handed deals in the first pitch, high and away, ball 1, 1-0. Matt Kemp on the road trip scored 8 runs, had 4 doubles, no home runs. He has just chewed up left-hand pitching, and promptly it's a towering fly ball, but it's playable, and it's the center fielder Pagan waiting on the track to make the catch. So 2 long outs by Victorino and Kemp. Dodgers go 1-2-3, and at the end of an inning, Giants 1, Dodgers nothing. Hyundai Summer Drive Sales Event now through September 3rd. By AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. And by CarMax. Start the search for your next car at CarMax. Second inning with the Giants leading 1-0 on a double and a long fly ball following a sacrifice bunt. So Kershaw going to work now against Hunter Pence, followed by Joaquin Arias and then Brandon Belt. Kershaw into the windup, delivers, fastball high, ball 1. For Hunter Pence, he's really been struggling ever since, you should say, from the 4th of July. He was acquired from the Phillies the very end of the month. Right-hand hitter, backs off, takes a strike, and the count 1-1. Hunter Pence, with runners in scoring position, is hitting .347. Swings, fouls it back. All of his other at-bats, all of them, he's hitting .152. And the really amazing thing is they break his average down on days of the week. Now, this is Monday, not a particularly good day for him. Tomorrow night, he could be trouble as he fouls a pitch back. Because on Tuesday, he's had 5 of his 18 home runs on Tuesday. He has 21 of his hits on a Tuesday. He has 15 of his RBIs on a Wednesday. However, it is Monday. Hunter waits. The 1-2 pitch swung on and fouled away. Pence does a couple of things. Number one, for a guy with 18 home runs, he chokes up on the bat. That's almost heresy in this day and age. He has one batting glove on and not two. And the 1-2 pitch on the way, swung on, popped up right side. It will be the second baseman, and that's Mark Ellis. And just like that, one away. So it's Monday, and there was nobody on base, and Hunter Pence is hitting less than $1.50. One away, and Joaquin Arias coming up. Arias has been doing very well, and the Giants are thrilled with the offensive numbers that he's been putting up. Hitting a solid .272, but he's hitting .336 against left-handers. The first pitch of the right hand hitting shortstop is high, ball one. Brandon Crawford might be in the lineup a lot of times, but not against Kershaw, so Brandon sits this one out. Arias swings, doesn't get the next one, and they count 1-1. Little over the last 2 weeks, Arias is hitting .425 and hitting better than .320 on the road. The 1-1 fastball, crack bat, little flare, one-handed by Hanley Ramirez. So Arias cracks his bat and pops up, and we have two down in the second inning, and Brandon Belt coming up. Brandon Belt hitting .267, 4 home runs, 38 runs batted in, and having a great August, hitting .412. What did he hit in July? .186. So a remarkable turnaround for the big left-hand hitter, Brandon Belt. Kershaw turns on the rubber. The left-hander's first pitch swung on and missed, and the count 0-1. Belt, statistically, is the best fielding first baseman in the National League. Strike one pitch, slow breaking ball for a strike. What a great pitch. Belt flinched, backed off, and the breaking ball caught the zone. 0-2 the count. The outfield, Kemp shaded just a tad towards left center. Kershaw back, fastball low and inside. His fastball at 95, so he is certainly properly warmed up tonight. To repeat, 80 degrees here when the game started. 1-2 the count to Brandon Belt. 2 out. Second inning, 1-0 Giants. Kershaw right back with a fastball lifted to left field. Victorino has to go back to get it and does. And it's a 1-2-3 inning. And at the end of an inning and a half, 1-0 Giants. lead 1-0. The sun setting in the west almost looks like an Olympic gold medal as Madison Bumgarner is ready to do some pitching. And talking about Olympic gold medals, Misty May Trainer, along with Kerry Walsh Jennings, winning 3 gold medals in each of the last 3 Olympics. Misty, of course, the wife of Dodger catcher Matt Trainer. She got a standing ovation, a heartwarming ovation from the big crowd here tonight. Now to the bottom of the second inning with the Giants leading 1-0. Hanley Ramirez, Andre Ethier, and then Juan Rivera in that order against Madison Bumgarner. Ramirez on the road trip hit .395. The Bumgarner deals fastball foul back, 0-1. Hanley for the year hitting .261. But boy, what a road trip he had. .395 batting average, scored 8 runs, had 4 doubles, 3 home runs, and 14 runs batted in during the 10-game trip. Strike 1 pitch on the way to Hanley. He lifts a fly ball deep but playable. Pagan is right there, still on the grass, and makes the catch. Bumgarner, perhaps pitching at home, gets away with a lot of fly balls. Certainly it is a deeper area in right center field and left center field up there at AT&T Park. Not so here, so it's a dangerous way to pitch. 5-6 on the road, remember, 8-1 at home, and of the 4 outs, 3 pretty long fly balls. The batter now is Andre Ethier. Ethier struggling right now, hit only .225 on the road trip. So Andre waiting at the plate. Bumgarner ready. Madison delivers a fastball in on the hands for a strike, and the count 0-1. Ethier hitting just 100 against Bumgarner. He is 1 for 10, but as we said, that was last year. All of these numbers. This is the Dodgers' first look at him this year. Check swing on a fastball up and in, and the count 0-2 as Andre fouled it back. Both right fielders, when you think about it, Andre Ethier and Hunter Pence, are both struggling very much. In April and May, Andre Ethier was hitting .324. In June to August, he's hitting in the 240s. He had 9 home runs in April and May. Since June, he's had only 3. Hunter Pence is hitting less than 150 with the bases empty or without a runner in scoring position. So 2 fine right fielders are struggling. Bumgarner set, ready, big left-handed delivers off the plate. 2-2. Got a little story to tell you about Madison Bumgarner. As we mentioned, big country boy, 6'4", puts on some pounds at 220 out of Lenore, North Carolina, and got the reputation of being a wonder man as he works Ethier inside, and it's foul back again. They were playing in Chicago, and the wind was blowing out at about 30 miles an hour, and everybody thought, well, this is going to be a 16-15 game. Instead, Bumgarner pitched a shutout. They then flew to Denver. They got on the bus, and anybody who's made the trip, it is a long trip from the airport to downtown. Ethier chases one and strikes out. So down goes Andre. 2 strikeouts for Bumgarner, and the batter's Rivera. Anyway, traveling in 2 buses, the player bus and a media bus. The player bus broke down in the middle of nowhere from the airport to downtown in Denver. Bumgarner, fresh from pitching a shutout, said, let me get out a minute. Got out, lifted the hood of the bus, went underneath, did a few things, said, Bussy, try it now. Bus was ready, he got back on, went on to the airport, or from the airport to the hotel. The pitch to Rivera hits him, I believe, on the foot, and Rivera will be awarded first base. So with 2 out, Rivera hit by the pitch and will walk to first, and that will bring up Luis Cruz. So that's a pretty good day, don't you think, for a left-hander to pitch a shutout in 30-mile-an-hour wind. and then get out of a broken-down bus and fix it and make sure the club makes it at a reasonable hour to the hotel in Denver. Now let's see about what he can do with Luis Cruz. Luis Cruz, the father of a Mexican League All-Star, has really come about. He's hitting .286, 4 home runs, 25 runs batted in. Bumgarner looks at Rivera, works the first pitch in for a strike, and the count 0-1. On the road trip, all Cruz did was hit .448 and homer in consecutive games, doing it Saturday and Sunday in Atlanta. Strike one pitch to the young third baseman is down and away, and a 1-ball, 1-strike count. So Luis Cruz, coming of age with the bat. They always knew he could field, playing both short and third, and he's just taken over at third base. Now the 1-1 pitch on the way. Bumgarner's fastball is fouled back, and the count 1-2. Cruz, as we mentioned, his dad, a big star in the Mexican League. He grew up at his father's spiked feet, watching him play. Had his picture taken as a youngster with Fernando Valenzuela, and plans to go and play in the Mexican League when the regular season is over. 1-2 strikes. Cruz asking for time, and it's granted by the plate umpire, Ron Culpa. Culpa, with 14 years in the big leagues, he was behind the plate when Verlander pitched his no-hitter a few years ago. So an experienced umpire in Game 1 of a very important series. Now the 1-2 pitch, down and away, 2-2. In fact, for this series, you have Culpa behind the plate. The crew chief, Darrell Cousins, he'll be calling balls and strikes tomorrow. Another veteran, Chris Guccione, who's at second tonight, he'll be calling balls and strikes in the final game. 2-2 pitch on the way. Swung on, line drive, base hit into left center. Pagan comes up with it. On his way to third, making it easily is Rivera. And Cruz continues his hot hitting. So with 2 out, Bumgarner hits Rivera. And that's followed by a line drive base hit by Luis Cruz. So the batter now is A.J. Ellis. Ellis had a quiet road trip until yesterday when he had 3 hits. He wound up hitting .241 on the road trip. But overall, his league batting average right there at .279. 10 home runs, 35 runs batted in. First and third, 2 out, 1-0 Giants, bottom of the second inning. Ellis waiting. Bumgarner delivers and runs it low and inside. Ball 1. 1-0 to A.J. Clayton Kershaw on deck. Ellis, as you know, has a good eye. He's 8th in the league in getting walks. Now the 1-ball, no strike count. Bumgarner deals. That's at the knees for a strike. And the count 1-1. So Madison Bumgarner out of Lenore, North Carolina. He was signed by the Giants for a bonus of $2 million, so you know what they think of him, and he's really just starting out. 1-1 the count. Matty, as they call him. The 1-1 pitch, fastball high and away, ball 2. Of course, they had another Matty, only you pronounced it hard T's, and that, of course, was the great Christy Mathewson. 2-1 the count, A.J. Ellis. Bumgarner, who had signed a letter and committed to North Carolina, turned pro instead. The pitch swung on and missed at the plate, and the count 2-2. A.J. talking to himself a little bit as he walks away. He knows the book on Bumgarner. Fastball, slider, change, and a cutter, and that was the pitch he just swung at and missed. 2-2 the count. A.J. Ellis. Bumgarner delivers, and it's going to go foul down the right field line and well out of play. Dodgers at the corners with Cruz at first, Rivera at third, and the Giants leading 1-0 in the second inning. League runs a bit on Bumgarner, although you don't expect Cruz to do any running. The league has stolen 18 out of 23 tries against the big left-hander. 2-2 pitch on the way is swung on and missed, slider down and in, and that'll do it for Ellis and for the Dodgers. 3 strikeouts for Bumgarner. The Dodgers leave 2, and at the end of 2, 1-0 Giants.
Hangar 1, made in California in an actual aircraft hangar.
Giants lead the Dodgers 1-0 in the 3rd inning. The run came quickly. Angel Pagan doubled to the gap in left center. Marco Scutero bunted him to 3rd, and Pablo Sandoval's long fly ball picked him up. Now the 3rd inning, it'll be Gregor Blanco, then Matty Bumgarner, and Angel Pagan. Blanco is really struggling, hitting only .235. If he gets aboard, he's a threat to steal. He bunts in the air, and it's going to be a sprawling catch by Kershaw in foul ground. Wonderful play by Clayton Kershaw. His body actually erased about 2 feet of the foul line as he skidded on his chest to catch up to the foul bunt. First it looked fair, and then the diving catch, and so Blanco out on a great play by Clayton Kershaw. And he caught it in foul ground. So Kershaw, who won a Gold Glove last year, the 5th Dodger pitcher to win a Gold Glove, shows you why on that play. Now here's Madison Bumgarner. He has a home run this year, big right-hand batter, despite the fact he's a left-hand pitcher, and he takes a strike. It's just the way he likes to hit, but of course everyone would try to talk him out of it. Strike 1 pitch is low. Why would they try to talk him out of it? Well, heck, he's a left-hander. They gave him $2 million to pitch with the left arm, and yet he bats with that left arm exposed when you bat right-handed. He swings, pulls it hard to 3rd. Staying with it is Cruz to throw him out. Nice play by Luis Cruz. That ball was ripped. And with 2 out here in the 3rd inning, Angel Pagan coming up. Angel Pagan hitting .283, 7 home runs, 46 runs batted in. He has a very good eye in the strike zone as far as making contact. He has a look at a pitch low, ball 1. He is high up, maybe 5th lowest rate in the league of swinging and missing at a strike. So that makes him a very, very good contact hitter. The 1-0 pitch waved at, missed, and it was in the dirt. 1 ball and 1 strike to Angel Pagan. Giants lead 1-0. This is game 10. Dodgers have a slight edge. They've won 5 of the previous 9. Now the 1-1 pitch on the way, and that swung on and fouled away. That jammed him. His right hand was stinging, and he backs out to fuss with his gloves. But he got jammed, and when you are jammed, in the heat, it might hurt a little. In the cold, you feel like your nails are going to fall off. 1-2 the count to Angel Pagan in a crouch. The 1-2 pitch on the way, waved at and missed. So after all the talk about his numbers, how he's a contact hitter, of course, he strikes out. And at the end of 2.5 innings, Giants 1, Dodgers nothing. One to nothing, and for the Dodgers it'll be Clayton Kershaw, followed by Shane Victorino, and then Mark Ellis. The Giants and the Dodgers putting on quite a race, and it is really just starting to warm up, and no pun intended with the weather. They've been tied for first place 6 times. The lead has changed 4 times, 3 times in the last 5 days. And the pitch to Kershaw, very high, ball 1. The largest lead when in first place, enjoyed by Bruce Bochy, a 3-game lead. The Dodgers' largest lead, enjoyed by Don Mattingly, 1. The next pitch in for a strike. Later on, that will be in September, on the weekend of the 7th, 8th, and 9th of September. Matt Kemp and company will be up at AT&T Park against the Giants. 1-1 pitch, Kershaw takes a strike, and then the last 3 games of the season. That makes it October 1, 2, and 3. Hunter Pence and the Giants will be here to decide things once and for all. Here's the 1-2 pitch coming up to Clayton Kershaw. A hopper up the middle, base hit into center field. Clayton Kershaw comes up with his 10th hit. He was hitting .209 when he checked in. So the Dodgers have the tying run on the leadoff single by Kershaw. And the batter now will be Shane Victorino. Shane Victorino hit the first pitch deep left field. And Gregor Blanco went to the wall to make the catch for the out. Shane with 10 home runs this year. He's hit 10 or more 6 straight years. And Blanco ready again if need be out there in left. They're not going to hold Kershaw. Instead, Belt's playing in front of him. And the pitch to Victorino is low, in on the ankles, ball one. Victorino has 7 sacrifices this year, 2 as a Dodger, and he is looking at Tim Wallach now to see if the bunt's on or not. So Kershaw at first, Belts in front of him. Bumgarner has a pretty good move. He's picked off 5. He works a strike, although you don't expect Kershaw to even come close to drawing a throw. He doesn't figure to try to steal. Bumgarner concentrating on Victorino. 1 ball and 1 strike the count. Victorino, 1-1 the count. Check with Wallach. Bumgarner comes back to the plate. Full swing, ground ball to third on the chalk. They're going to get a force, and that's it. So Sandoval goes down to turn it into a force play. For the Dodgers, mixed emotions. They did surrender an out, but on such a hot, muggy night, they get Kershaw back in the dugout, and they get somebody who can really run at first base. Victorino, remember, has stolen 27 out of 32, so it's not a bad turnoff at all to have the force play allow Victorino to be at first. So now let's see what they do with Victorino and with Mark Ellis at the plate. Ellis waits, and the fastball in for a strike, and the count 0-1. We told you that the league has stolen 18 bases on Bumgarner. They've caught 5. So for Buster Posey, who is always the catcher for Bumgarner, a lot of pressure with Victorino. Bumgarner back to the plate, away, and a 1 ball, 1 strike count. Dodgers with the addition of people like Victorino. And of course, remember, D. Gordon had 30 stolen bases before he went down. Hanley Ramirez has 16. So they have some rabbits. The 1-1 pitch is instead a throw to first. Madison Bumgarner. We mentioned how young he is when all the talk. He's just coming up 23. Pitched on Halloween night in Game 4 of the World Series 2 years ago in Texas. That was the first all-rookie starting battery in a World Series game with Posey and Bumgarner, going back to Spec Shea and Yogi Berra. There goes the run of Victorino. The throw is on the money, and the tag by Scutaro. Victorino can't believe he's called out as he argues with second base umpire Chris Guccione, and down goes Shane. So Ellis taking at the plate, Posey making a great throw, and Scutaro at the other end of it, and the tag looked like it was above the belt. I think first at the knee, but he missed, and he got it on the belt, so Victorino thought he was on the bag, but down he goes. 2-4 if you're scoring, and with 2 out, Bumgarner can work on Ellis on a 2-1 count, runs it inside, ball 3. 3-1 to count to Mark Ellis. Waiting on deck, Matt Kemp. Giants 1, Dodgers nothing, bottom of the third. 3-1 fastball is drilled foul down into the stands. No doubt about it going foul. That thing was foul as soon as Ellis turned on it. So 3-2 the count. Mark Ellis 1 for 7 against Bumgarner. Victorino walking off a little steam in the Dodger dugout. And the 3-2 pitch coming up. Bumgarner ready, turns ready and deals, and it is swung on and fouled away. Still 3-2. The Giants afield with Belton, Scutaro, Arias, and Sandoval, Blanco, Pagan, and Pence in the outfield, and Posey always the catcher when Bumgarner works, a former catcher, Bruce Bochy at the helm for the Giant ship. 3-2 pitch on the way is swung on and missed, and down he goes. 4 strikeouts for Bumgarner, and at the end of 3, Giants 1, Dodgers nothing.
for the Giants, second baseman, number 19, Marco Scutaro.
Madison Bumgarner and Buster Posey joined at the hip, and the Giants are leading 1-0. Bumgarner just able to hold Victorino long enough for a fine throw by Buster Posey, and we go to the fourth inning. Marco Scutaro, who is very happy to be a Giant. Ball one. Scutaro, as a Giant, has hit safely in 17 of 22, hitting .322, and always giving the Dodgers a bad time. 1 ball and 1 strike. Marco has hit safely in 9 of 11 games against the Dodgers this year. Strike. 1-1. One and two to Marco, hitting .280, a half a dozen home runs. 48 runs batted in. Scutaro does his best work, it would seem, when his team is behind. He has 20 RBIs when he's behind in the count. He has 41 hits when he's behind in the count. He's very tough with 2 strikes. He has 52 hits. 2-2. 2-strike RBI, that's tough to come by, yet he is the 4th highest with 31 of those. So Marco Scutaro. Giants lead 1-0, trying to get back into first place. 2-2. And that's going to be flared into right field in front of Ethier. So Scutaro continues to get at least a base hit against the Dodgers. And the batter now is Pablo Sandoval. Pablo Sandoval, we mentioned earlier, is truly a remarkable hitter because he just doesn't do what most successful hitters do. So if you have the count your way, you really have to look out. And you also have to look out about the first pitch. He had a scoring fly ball in the first inning. Scutaro has stolen 8 out of 12, mostly in the American League. Light breeze blowing out to right field. That's that first pitch. You know, as we mentioned earlier, he'll go after that first pitch 44% of the time. Sandoval learned to throw with his right hand at the age of 9. He was basically left-handed. The reason he learned to throw right-handed, he wanted to be a catcher. He felt that would really make him be a leader. And, of course, when you look at him, you think he was born to be a backstop. 0-1 to Pablo. He began playing baseball in Venezuela as a shortstop because he idolized Omar Vizquel. He signed with the Giants when he was 16 years old. 0-1. 0-2. For Pablo, he has 3 older brothers. The oldest brother is a police officer. The second oldest is a criminal attorney. And the third, Michael, a baseball player who was released by the Minnesota Twins last year. He got as high as AA. Both his mom and dad went to college, and they were a little bit upset, at least, when he went to play baseball. 1-2 to Pablo Sandoval. He has a scar under his left eye, if you ever got close enough. He was 1 year old, and he had a plastic baseball bat. And naturally, being a little boy at 1, he was kind of hitting the family pet Doberman. The dog bit him in the face. They got rid of the dog. Ground ball to short. Ramirez to Ellis to Rivera. So Pablo hits into the double play. And just like that, 2 down for Sandoval. That's only the 7th double play into which he is hit. And with 2 out, the batter now will be Buster Posey. Buster Posey not only hitting .424 since the All-Star break, he's had at least 1 hit in 7 straight games against the Dodgers. That's right. 0-1. Nice changeup. Buster hitting .329, 19 home runs, 77 runs batted in. Another breaking ball for a strike. So no fastball. 0-2 the count to Buster Posey. And that miss low and inside. Buster Posey lives by the creed given to him by his father. Not a bad idea, especially for an athlete, but for all of us, really. His father told him, no matter what's going on, if things are going good or bad, carry yourself the same way, so no one can tell the difference. And that's really the way he's been playing. And a hopper blocked nicely by Cruz on his feet to throw him out. Luis Cruz making a fine defensive play to take a base hit away from Buster Posey. No runs, a hit, a 1-2-3 inning. It's still Giants 1, Dodgers nothing. Dodgers on cruise control with the Giants leading 1-0. Luis had himself a base hit in the second inning, and he made a dazzling play to take a hit away from Buster Posey. Now for the Dodgers, bottom of the 4th, Matt Kemp, Hanley Ramirez, and Andre Ethier. Matt batting .337. Ball 1. Kemp has terrorized left-handers all year. Made out long fly ball ending the first inning. 1-1. In fact, two fellas who have given left-handers the roughest time in the league are in the game tonight, Matt Kemp and Buster Posey. 2-1 to Matt. Kemp came into the game hitting .308 against Bumgarner, but we have to continue to qualify. This is the first time the Dodgers have seen Matty this year. The other numbers from last year. They saw him a lot last year. He had 5 decisions. He was 3-2 against the Dodgers. One of the things kind of missing is the Lincecum-Kershaw battles of last year. Do you remember those gems? They were amazing. That's in there, 3-2. The scores of the Lincecum-Kershaw games as Timmy looks on. The first game, Dodgers won 2-1 behind Kershaw. Second time, the Dodgers won 1-0 behind Kershaw. Ground ball to Arias. The third game, the Dodgers won 2-1 behind Kershaw over Lincecum. And for good measure, the fourth meeting, the Dodgers won 2-1. Again, Kershaw beat Lincecum. But those historic battles last year, we're not going to see them this year. I don't know if we will see a Kershaw-Lincecum matchup this year. Lincecum will go tomorrow night, but he'll go up against Joe Blanton. And Lincecum is the big story in San Francisco. Yeah, even bigger than Melky Cabrera. Ball 1 to Hanley Ramirez. Lincecum, 6 wins and 13 losses. Just turn that record around. Make him 13-6, and you realize where the Giants would be. 2-0. So tomorrow night, Lincecum and Blanton, and then the concluding game Wednesday night, Matt Cain and Chris Capuano. But in San Francisco, it's the mystery of Tim Lincecum. Good breaking ball. 2-1. Hanley batting .260, but hitting over .300 since becoming a Dodger. 18 home runs, 75 runs batted in. Ball 3. For Hanley, of course, he doesn't have to carry the club. I mean, he came over here, and a lot of pressure came off his shoulders with Kemp hitting in front of him, Ethier hitting back of him, Victorino getting on base, etc. Way out in front of that breaking ball. 3-2. Hanley, as a Dodger, has had well over 100 at-bats, and he has struck out 15 times. 3-2. Got him. Oh, what a great pitch. You know, they talk about late breaking pitch. Watch this. It's there, and then it just cut in, and there wasn't a thing he could do about it. That, by the way, is the 5th strikeout for Madison Bumgarner. So with 2 out, 4th inning, Andre Ethier struck out in the 2nd inning. Andre 1 for 11 against Bumgarner. Fastball strike. Slipped that in at 92. Oh and 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Madison Bumgarner married his high school sweetheart, and in North Carolina, they have a house on 38 acres They have a ranch with 11 horses, 15 head of cattle. Just off the plate, ball 2, 2-1. One nothing Giants, bottom of the fourth. Fastball fouled off, and that was 92 and down. Andre batting .280 with 12 home runs, 69 runs batted in. But as we mentioned, he's been struggling June, July, and August. Still 2-2. In the 3 months, Andre has hit 3 home runs, 25 runs batted in. That carries over 60 games. 2-2. On the hands, going foul. That sounded like he cracked it. Yep. Didn't break it, but you could hear like a stalk of celery up here. Always remember many years ago a game in Ebbets Field with the Pirates. Bob Elliott, the third baseman, broke a bat. Bases were loaded, the game on the line. He called to the bat boy to give him a new bat. So the bat boy brought up a new bat. Elliott came back up to the plate, swung and missed at a pitch, and the bat broke in half. He was ready to chase the bat boy all over the ballpark. So be careful what stick you choose. 2-2. Got him. So for Ether, he struck out in the second, again in the fourth, but he has company. Bumgarner has now struck out 6. And at the end of 4, 1-0 Giants.
Nissan dealers, October 15th, 1988.
Kirk Gibson, and a moment that will live in the hearts of Dodger fans for all time.
High fly ball into right field. She is gone. In a year that has been so improbable, the impossible has happened.
Oh my gosh, 1988. One of the great moments, certainly in Los Angeles history and Dodger history. And when you have people around you talking about it, one of the great moments, period. So many people thrilled by that moment. It still gets you, doesn't it? Meanwhile, Hunter Pence, Joaquin Arias, and Brandon Belt. Right. 0-1 the count to Hunter. And he's in the hole, 0-2. It's an amazing thing in this game, but it always seems to work out. When you are in a slump, you walk up to the plate and it looks like you've inherited an 0-2 count. Fly ball. Ethier's at the other end of it. One away here in the fifth inning. Say, friends, be sure to bring the kids to Dodger Stadium Sunday at 1:10. The first 15,000 ticketed kids, 14 and under in attendance, receive their own Dodger backpack. Compliments of Northrop Grumman. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. One away. Arias popped a short in the second inning. Strike. Final score. The Marlins beat the Arizona Diamond. Well, they haven't beaten them yet. It's in the sixth inning, but the Marlins lead 10-2. 0-2. Joe Saunders cruising along with a 2-0 lead, and the Marlins scored 9 runs in the fourth inning, including a 3-run home run by our local boy, Giancarlo Stanton. 10-2 Fish. Joaquin Arias playing short. Brandon Crawford been playing a lot at that position. Arias from Santo Domingo. He was originally signed by the Yankees. Built a little bit like Alfonso Soriano. It's a high fly ball to left center. Victorino to the track at the wall. In the warm weather, that ball really carried. I think Arias thought he hit it out. 2 down.
First baseman, Brandon Belt.
And the batter will be Brandon Belt. 1 run, 2 hits for the Giants, no runs, 2 hits for the Dodgers, and we're in the fifth inning. Brandon Belt has picked up over the last 3 weeks, so he becomes a force. Big Texan. He's 6'5" and a strike. When Belt was in high school, he was a pitcher. He threw a couple of no-hitters. In fact, he had his fastball was clocked at 93 in high school. 1-1. He passed up the Braves when they drafted him and went and accepted a scholarship to the University of Texas. Check swing strike. 1-2. Giants changed him a great deal. When they first saw him, he had very much of a closed stance that made him a contact hitter, but he's wide open now. With the closed stance, he made contact, but the hard stuff inside, he wasn't able to handle it. So they had him straighten up a little bit more upright, open up so it doesn't cut off his swing, and he can turn on that inside pitch. Did he? Yes, he did. So down goes Belt. Strike 3 called by Alan Porter, the third base umpire. And at the end of 4.5, it's still 1-0 Giants.
first baseman, number 21, Juan Rivera.
Well, there they are, two very talented left-handers. Really not much to choose from. Look at the pitches. 61 pitches for Bumgarner and 60 for Kershaw. So they're like the race. They're going nose to nose. So the Dodgers and the Giants. Then we go to the bottom of the fifth. 1-0 San Francisco. Rivera, Cruz, and A.J. Ellis. Rivera was hit on the foot in the second inning and got as far as third. And remember, he had a home run against Bumgarner last year. Rivera hitting .239, 6 home runs, 40 runs batted in. Didn't play much on the road, and when he did play, didn't hit much. Rivera hit just 125 on the road trip. Normally, Rivera perks up after the All-Star break. His career batting average is .287 after the break. So we'll see if he can go to the whip offensively starting now, the 20th of August. And by the way, 20th of August reminds us the Dodgers will have 22 more home games. That's it. 22. Just found. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So we're almost ready, not quite, to sing September song about the days dwindle down to a precious few, but we're getting awfully close to it. And Mattingly and Ellis and all of the others, including Matt Kemp, they are aware. The clock is ticking. 2-2. Ball 3. Dodgers came into the game with a little 2-game winning streak, and they'd also won 8 out of 11. However, they've not played well at Dodger Stadium. You know, they've lost 9 of the last 14 here. 3-2. One nothing Giants. Bottom of the fifth. Foul back. Dodgers had one rally with 2 out. Rivera hit on the foot. Cruz singled to left center. Rivera going all the way to third, but A.J. Ellis came up and struck out. Pablo Sandoval came up with a runner on, leading off the fourth, and promptly banged into a double play. So the only run came in the first inning, a double by Vacan, sacrifice bunt, and a sacrifice fly. Ground ball, Walker and Arias, 1 away.
Third baseman, number 47.
When we were talking earlier about Madison Bumgarner pitching and winning Game 4 of the 2010 World Series, he was 21, and there are only 3 younger starting pitchers ever to win a World Series game. Bullet Joe Bush of the 1913 A's, Jim Palmer, the 20-year-old pitching for the 1966 Orioles against the Dodgers, and a 20-year-old by the name of Fernando Valenzuela. That was 1981. Oddly, Palmer and Valenzuela were exactly the same age. 20 years, 356 days. So Bumgarner is in some rather distinguished company already. Two 2-0. And that's going up the middle. So Cruz is 2 for 2, and he was hitting .291. And again, you hear the Cruz. And the batter will be A.J. Ellis. Be sure to follow the Dodgers with MLB.com at Bat 12 for your iPhone, iPad, BlackBerry, Android, and Windows Mobile. Get live audio, pitch tracking, video highlights, and a lot more. Text at Bat to 31826 or visit Dodgers.com for details. Dodgers with 3 hits, no runs. Cruz has 2, Kershaw has the other. And Ellis a strike. 0-1. 1 run, 2 hits for the Giants. No runs, 3 hits for the Dodgers. Bottom of the 5th. In there. I was talking to Bill Shaken, the fine writer of the LA Times, and he's going to write, I think, an article about the Giant-Dodger rivalry. And we both agreed something is missing. The problem is there are too many nice guys involved in the game. No villain. Not yet anyway, but no villain. 0-2. You know, Barry Bonds was definitely a villain. Juan Marichal was a villain. Don Drysdale was a villain. Leo DeRocher was a villain. Tommy Lasorda was a villain. Depending upon where each name mentioned was as a visitor. Jackie Robinson was a villain. But it's different right now. I can remember one day before a Giant-Dodger game in the old Polo Grounds in New York, I was in the clubhouse, which was about 480 feet away from home plate. And as each Dodger came out of the clubhouse, the crowd would boo. And all of a sudden it dwindled down. There were only 2 players and me in the clubhouse, Pee Wee Reese and Jackie Robinson. And Pee Wee said to Jackie, "I'll bet you I get more boos than you do." And Jackie said, "You gotta be kidding." So Reese opened up the door as he started down the wooden steps. I mean, they booed him out of the ballpark. And Robbie sat there in the dressing room laughing. And finally he said to me, "Now watch this." He said, "I'm sure that the Giant fans check off the name of each Dodger player who has left the clubhouse. I guarantee you they know I'm the only player left in the clubhouse. And I swear to you, the door didn't crack open 6 inches. You couldn't see who was coming out, but the crowd knew it was Robinson, and they went wild." 2-2. So right now, we're missing it, but in a tough pennant race, there might be a knockdown pitch. There might be something where both benches empty, the guys run in from the bullpen. But something will happen, I am sure. Or if not, I will be completely surprised between now and the end of the season. 3-2. There goes the runner out at the plate. Great throw down, and Cruz does not run that well. Posey shoots him down easily, and at the end of 5, it remains 1-0 Giants. 4, the Dodgers were in Wrigley Field, Chicago, playing the Cubs. Well, they weren't just playing the Cubs. They beat their brains out 18-8. Now, remember the Dodger infield. Of the 4, 2 of them, Bill Russell and Davy Lopes, were converted outfielders. Lopes was a terrific outfielder. On that particular day, we're talking about not Lopes the base stealer, but Lopes the all-around hitter. On that day against the Cubs, he had 3 home runs, a double, a single, 15 total bases. By the way, in 1979, Davy hit 28 home runs. And with that, let's go back to this one. Gregor Blanco fouling it off, 0-1. The Giants this year have had incredible trouble with 2 outs and the bases loaded. In fact, 2 outs and the bases loaded, would you believe the Giants are 1 for 42? Who has the 1 hit? You're looking at him, Gregor Blanco. He has the only 2-out bases loaded hit all year, and by the way, it was a single. 1-1 to Blanco. Kershaw's pitch count, only 62 pitches. Bumgarner's pitch count is up now to 78. One and two. Clayton Kershaw with a 4-game winning streak. He's 11-6. It's impossible to reconcile his earned run average against the Giants and his record against them as he strikes out his 4th. 1 out. We have a trivia question for you right now. The Dodgers and Giants tied for the National League pennant in 1962. That was the first year at Dodger Stadium. Which San Francisco pitcher earned the win in Game 3 of the best-of-3 tiebreaker? Do you remember? Pop foul, out of play. Bumgarner 0 for 1, but he hit the ball hard, grounded sharply to Cruz back in the 3rd inning. Oh and 2. Muttering to himself. One and 2. 1 out, 6th inning. Giants 1 run, 2 hits. Dodgers no runs, 3 hits. Angel Pagan on deck. Fastball at 95, so in the heat, 6th inning, he can still cut it loose. That changeup, 3 and 2. Well, you figure 3 and 2 and a pitcher hitting, you got to come fastball, but let's see. Yeah, got him. And that was 95. So 2 out. That's 3 consecutive strikeouts for Kershaw to give him 5. And Angel Pagan, who doubled in the 1st inning, went to 3rd on the bunt by Marco Scutaro, scored on the fly ball by Pablo Sandoval, and that's it. Dodgers have had 1 man get to 3rd in 5 innings. Right. Pagan is from Puerto Rico. Originally, he was signed by the Mets. Fouled away. In fact, Pagan, growing up in Puerto Rico, spent an awful lot of time as a fighter. He said he loved boxing. He loved Felix Trinidad. Thought he'd try. And if nothing else, he feels boxing really helped him out with his body, his footwork, his balance. Cracked back ground ball, smothered and missed by Cruz. A head first slide, safe at first. Great effort by both Cruz and Hanley Ramirez. So Pagan beats the throw. You know, they've checked, they've measured, they've counted, they've done everything. And they say that if you break your stride and dive at the bag, you're actually slowing down. So had he stayed on his feet, according to the experts who study such things, he'd have made it a lot easier. So now let's see about whether they run him or not with 2 out. Pagan has stolen 19 out of 25. Kershaw and base stealers in his career, the success ratio is only 55%. He's picked off 33. He's allowed 41. And he is keeping an eye on Pagan. One thing about Kershaw this year that is not an improvement, he's gone back a little bit. That would be wild pitches. His first 3 years, he had 23 wild pitches. His next year, he had none. But this year, he has 5. Ground ball to the hole, off the glove of Ramirez. Trying to backhand, thinking about getting a force, and we'll see how they rule it. So 2 on, 2 out, and Pablo Sandoval coming up. It'll be a base hit, so back-to-back singles to the hole at short. And now Sandoval, who did have the sacrifice fly in the first inning, grounded into the double play in the fourth. One to nothing Giants, trying to add to it. 2 out. 0-1 typically. Sandoval going after the first pitch. You ought to check his batting gloves. How new are they? Well, what he did, he ordered 40 pair of batting gloves from a manufacturer in Venezuela. If he doesn't get a base hit, he throws the gloves away. I guess 40 pair into 162 games, and you hit like he does, batting .294. 0-1. 1-1. Sandoval did a nice thing a couple of years ago. He drove down to San Jose to watch the single-A team. He had played down there. And after the game, he arranged with a local Italian restaurant to have the entire clubhouse, the entire team, everybody there. Food on the house. And he promptly flares it to left. It's going to land. Victorino is going to throw to the plate, and he is safe at the plate. And that makes it 2-0 Giants. And they now have runners at first and third. Mattingly will come out to argue. Victorino made a good throw. Pagan, of course, runs exceptionally well. And Ron Kulpa is explaining the play as Angel brings it home. So Sandoval has now driven in both runs, a fly ball and a flare in front of Victorino. Pagan gets in there ahead of the tag, trying to block the play, but you could see the plate's wide open on the left side. And he was across the plate when Ellis got him around the hand. So a good call by Ron Culpa. Close play. 2-0 Giants. And the batter now, Buster Posey. So Scudero at third, Sandoval at first, and Buster Posey. Buster hitting .328 strike. Interesting thing, and it happens to so many players. It's certainly not a knock on Posey. With less than 2 outs and a runner in scoring position this year, he's hitting .438. With 2 outs and a runner in scoring position, he's hitting .186. Pressure? Maybe. Meanwhile, Marco Scudero standing at third. Pablo Sandoval over at first, held on by Rivera. And a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Kershaw, by the way, will lead off in the bottom of the 6th inning. In there. 1-2. Pitch count now is up to 82. Struck out Blanco, struck out Bumgarner. Single to the hole at short by Pagan. Another single to the hole at short by Scudero. And then Sandoval, the flare single to left, and the second run. Pablo with 2 RBIs, and the Giants lead 2-0. Sandoval, in case you wonder, you look at him and then you see Kershaw throw over the first. He has not stolen a base. One and two. And for Posey, the numbers hold up, and down he goes. However, 2 singles to the hole and a flare single to left, and it's 2-0 Giants. Same old refrain. Angel Pagan gets aboard, and Pablo Sandoval knocks him in. So it is 2-0 in favor of the Giants in quite a pitching duel. Pagan's speed just did get a run in. Pablo's bat has chased home 2. And the pitching battle continues. Mano a mano here. Ball 1 to Clayton Kershaw, who singled in the 3rd inning. Ground ball to the hole. He's got 2 hits. So Kershaw singled to center in the 3rd inning and singles to right here in the 6th. So the Dodgers have 4 hits, and Kershaw has 2 of them. Fastball at the knees, and he made good contact. Scutaro unable to make contact. Kershaw is now 3 for 4 in his career against Bumgarner. Victorino has flied to left, hit into a force play. Right. Victorino thrown out trying to steal in the 3rd inning. Buster Posey got him. He also nailed Cruz in the 5th inning. (0-2) to Shane. Victorino, proud possessor of, among other things, 3 Gold Gloves, twice an All-Star, a flying Hawaiian. Shane is 5'9", about 180, from Maui. Pop foul, no play. "37 players have come from Hawaii and surfaced in the big leagues. Victorino, however, is just one of 4 from the island of Maui. There they are. A 1-hopper to Sandoval. They get 1. They are late at first. So Victorino hit a 1-hopper, and it looked like double play, but he's tough to double. He has not hit into a double play as a Dodger and hit into only 4 when he was with the Phillies. Scutaro had plenty of time, but Victorino fast enough, even hitting right-handed, to prevent the double play. So 1 out again. It's a pretty good trade-off. They get Kershaw off the base paths, and they get a rabbit Victorino to run. A bunt, foul. 0-1. Giants 2 runs, 5 hits. Dodgers no runs, 4 hits. Bumgarner has struck out 7. Hit a batter, has not walked anybody. Kershaw has struck out 6. And has not walked anybody. So this figured to be this kind of a game. 2 very talented left-handers. Bumgarner is 4-2 lifetime against the Dodgers. Kershaw 7-3. Still don't understand how Kershaw, coming into this game, could have a career earned run average of 1.3 against the Giants and have lost 3 games to them. He's 7-3. (0-1) to Mark. And a line drive. Here comes Pence and makes the catch. Hunter really got a good jump. Outfielders say that's the toughest play of all, that sinking line drive hit at you. If you hesitate at all, you're in a lot of trouble, but he didn't hesitate, and he makes a fine catch. It's also a tribute to Hunter Pence when you're not hitting a lick, and he is not hitting, but he's not standing out there thinking about hitting, and he's on his toes to make the play. So 2 out, and here's Matt. Kemp fly deep to center, grounded to short, hitting .336. Ball 1. Well, if you're Victorino and you have Matt Kemp representing the possible tying run, is there a thought of running him or not? Matt, with 17 home runs, can get you even with one swing. He's going. Missed at the plate, and the throw is late. So Victorino steals his 28th. So the manager's decision, do I gamble with Victorino? And he got away with it. 28 stolen bases for Shane. He's 1 for 2 tonight. And a 1-1 count to Matt Kemp. Now it's up to Scutaro to fake to the bag a few times. He just did, to try to take a step or two away from Victorino. 1-1. Sliders down and in, 1 and 2. Long time ago, but I guess one memory locks in with the other. Thinking of Victorino being a Philly and then looking at a slider, combine the thoughts, and you think of Steve Carlton, who probably had as good a slider as anybody who ever played the game. Wow! Fortunately, that didn't hit anybody. But Tim Wallach is grazing. I mean, Wallach, in order to get a good look at Shane Victorino, yeah, almost a close shave. That takes a lot of guts to be Wallach where he is, turning your back on the hitter. Let me tell you. Holy mackerel. 2-2. I mean, Wallach is in front of the coaching box, and he will turn his back, and he's not wearing armor. And you have a hitter like Kemp. And Wallach just doesn't even think about Kemp. His eyes are riveted on Victorino. Wow. Two and two. And there goes Victorino, and a pitch in the dirt, and he has it stolen. For a question there, if Posey didn't discover that ball, you wondered if Victorino wouldn't try to come all the way. So for Victorino, who stole second, he now steals third because he's in motion on what turns out to be a wild pitch. All right, he's 90 feet away, which also protects the life of Tim Wallach, because Wallach can now go beyond the coaching box and out of harm's way, kind of. Kemp goes down, and the Dodgers leave Victorino at third. And for Bumgarner, 8 strikeouts in the game, and it's still 2-0 Giants. Dodger Baseball is brought to you by the new wireless receiver from AT&T UVerse. Visit AT&T.com/free your TV. Rethink possible. By El Pollo Loco, crazy you can taste. And by the full line of fuel-efficient vehicles at your Southern California Toyota dealer. 7th inning, 2-0 Giants. Bumgarner back in the dugout, but right now Hunter Pence at the plate fouls it away. So now we can tell you a little bit about Madison Bumgarner. He has come from behind nicely tonight. 6 Dodger hitters have worked a 3-ball count. All 6 were eventually retired, and 4 of the 6 striking out. So he's turned in quite a performance. We have not had a walk in the game. We did have a hit batter. 1-1. Hunter Pence has popped up, flied to right, hitting .263, but as we said, that is very, very deceptive. Since July 4th, he's not hitting a lick for whatever reason. High fly ball, very playable down the line if it stays fair or foul. Ramirez. So Pence fouls out, 1 away. Well, we gave you the trivia question a little while ago about that fateful game in 1962. Which Giants pitcher earned the victory? Well, if you're very aware, yes, believe it or not, Don Larson, who had pitched the perfect game in the World Series, was the winning pitcher when the Giants won that fateful day. That's going to go into center field. So Arias 1 for 3 with a line drive single, and the batter will be Brandon Belt. By the way, just a footnote to Larson, he picked up that victory in relief of Juan Marichal, and that was a game originally started by Johnny Padres and finished by Stan Williams. So Arias at first, and here's Brandon Belt. Arias has stolen 4 out of 5 this year. Two runs, 6 hits for the Giants. No runs, 4 hits for the Dodgers. Off the plate. Arias has never stolen very many in the major leagues, but he has stolen as many as 30 in the minors, so you know he can run. One out, 7th inning, 2-0 Giants. Slice down the line, going foul, out of play. 1-1. Interesting concept and a befuddling one for those who watch the Giants all the time. They are number 1 in scoring runs on the road. They are the 3rd lowest in scoring runs at home. 1-1. Of course, one reason perhaps AT&T Ballpark can be even bigger than its dimensions, according to the wind, which is a big factor by the water. That's a strike. And when you start to read about a team that scores more on the road than at home, you say, well, what's the trouble at home? Maybe it's the dimensions. Maybe they ought to change it around a little bit. I've been told, I don't know if it's official, that they polled the pitchers for the Giants and they vetoed any change of dimensions, which I guess is understandable. Still 1-2 to Brandon Belt. Meanwhile, Matt Cain taking in the game. He'll go up against Chris Capuano Wednesday. Kane always considered a star to be. But now that Lincecum is struggling so much, Matt would appear to be the big man on the staff. Although Bumgarner certainly will give him a run for his money. So Matt, out of Alabama and Tennessee, he was a first-round pick by the Giants, and we'll see him. And meanwhile, Bumgarner really just starting out. A couple of very impressive pitchers. 1-2. Two and two to Belt. On deck, Gregor Blanco. So Boshi put his left-hand hitters in the number 7 and 8 slot, and then he has switch hitters, 2 of the top 3 in the lineup. Arias with a 2-2 count, and Belt waiting. And got him. Great breaking ball. Belt quit, and it dropped in. 7 strikeouts for Clayton Kershaw. Kershaw has made the defensive play of the night. It was on Blanco in the 3rd inning. The bunt and a diving catch by Clayton. Blanco last time struck out. Now with 2 out, there's definitely a thought of a stolen base. The only problem is you have the number 8 hitter in the lineup. Blanco is from Caracas in Venezuela. His dad played in the Venezuelan minor leagues. That's a strike. Blanco runs very well, and he attributes his speed. When he was a kid, he did a lot of rollerblading. Oh, and 1. 0-2. Blanco hitting just .235, 5 home runs, 29 runs batted in. Giants trying to heal. The team, the city, all of their fans had their hearts broken because of Melky Cabrera. Down he goes. So no runs, 1 hit, a man left, and we're heading to the bottom of the 7th inning. Giants 2, Dodgers nothing. You can call it a string of pearls or a bunch of offers, but the Dodgers have 2 singles from Cruz, 2 singles from Kershaw, and the rest of the neighborhood is sound asleep. However, it's only the bottom of the 7th. For Mattingly, a patient man, waiting for Ramirez, Ethier, and Rivera to flat out do something. Hanley Ramirez fly deep to center and struck out. The left-handers, Bumgarner has struck out 8, and Kershaw has struck out 8. Ball 1. Foul ball, 1 ball and 1 strike. For Bumgarner, this would qualify as his 18th quality start. Now, normally, he gets almost 5 runs of support. Tonight, he's gotten 2. One ball, 1 strike. Check swing, no swing. 2 balls and 1 strike. In following a pattern and studying Bumgarner, he usually struggles, or at least he struggles early in the game, but pitches tougher after the 4th. Well, he's now in the 7th. 2-1. In there. His earned run average in his career from the 4th inning till the end of the game, his ERA is 2. And another 3-ball count. So this is the 7th 3-ball count of the previous 6. They were all retired. 4 out of 6 striking out. Andre Ethier on deck. 3-2 to Ramirez. And a crack bat, little hopper, Arias Beckman. So that means 7 Dodger hitters have had a 3-ball count. 7 were retired. 4 out of 7 on strikeouts. And the batter, Andre Ethier. That little slider in on the hands will sure break a lot of bats. Ethier has struck out twice. Down in the Giant bullpen, Santiago Casilla begins to warm up. I think this will be the 100th pitch by Bumgarner, I believe. Little ground ball, Sandoval kicks it. So Ethier grateful to get aboard any way he can. Sandoval will draw an error. He had it and it just jumped out of his glove. By the way, that error by Sandoval brings up something that people never talk about, defense. And the Giants are in a stretch defensively. They've been outstanding. Since the All-Star break, that's only the 17th error. That's fewest in the major leagues. Oh, and 1 to Rivera. Well, might have hurt something on that swing. Yeah, I'm sure he did. Right ankle. No balls and 1 strike to Juan. Hit by a pitch, grounded to short. 0 for 1. Two runs, 6 hits for the Giants, no runs, 4 hits for the Dodgers. Missed the corner, 1-1. Rivera batting .238, 6 home runs, 40 runs batted in. Ethier a very short lead, and that's popped up. And it will be Arias. So Rivera pops it up. The inning should be over, but the error by Sandoval will bring up Luis Cruz. Sandoval, by the way, is a good fielder. However, he's now made 11 errors. Cruz single to center again, hitting .296. Boy, wouldn't you imagine his confidence is at its highest level right now? Coming off a great road trip. And a fly ball to right center. Room service. It's coming to Pence. And that'll be that. No runs, no hits, an error, a man left. And at the end of 7, Giants 2, Dodgers nothing. And since the All-Star break, this race between the Giants and Dodgers, they have been tied for first place 6 times. The lead has changed 4 times. It has changed 3 times in the last 5 days. The Giants' biggest lead, 3 games, and the Dodgers' biggest lead, 1 game. And here we go into the 8th inning. Oh, 0-1. You would figure that Clayton Kershaw, despite the fact he's 2 for 2, might very well be pitching his last inning. That's his 100th pitch. Bumgarner has made 104. Bumgarner is 0 for 2. Kershaw 2 for 2 against him. Foul ball. So you have Bumgarner, then Pagan and Scutaro, and maybe Sandoval. Dodgers will have A.J. Ellis, then Kershaw's spot, and Victorino. Two and two. Bumgarner hitting 140. Kershaw's high in pitches, 120. Fastball. So Bumgarner strikes out twice on the fastball, 1 away. 9 strikeouts for Kershaw. You know, Tuesday, September 4th against the Padres, fans with the first 30,000 tickets will receive an adult Matt Kemp replica jersey, compliments of State Farm. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. Here's Pagan, doubled, scored a run, struck out, singled, scored a run. The combination of Angel Pagan and Pablo Sandoval each time. Scored easily in the first inning on the fly ball. Just did get in on the single each time. Sandoval hit the ball, and each time Victorino tried to nail him at the plate and missed. Frustrating night for Shane. He was also thrown out trying to steal while going 0 for 3. One ball and 1 strike. He was badly fooled. Swung late on that. Hitting .284, 7 home runs, 46 runs batted in. Time. No pitch. Kershaw has struck out 9. Bumgarner has struck out 8. Fastball got him. And that was 93. So he's still throwing hard. He has also struck out 4 in a row now. He had a streak from the 5th and 6th where he had 3 in a row. Now he's gotten Belt, Blanco, Bumgarner, and Pagan. 10 strikeouts. Scutaro sacrifice. That was a huge play. Little did we know. It got Pagan to 3rd in the first inning. Sandoval's fly ball picked him up. Then Scutaro single to right in the 4th. Single to the hole at short in the 6th. Ground ball, fair ball, long throw for Cruz on the money. So Kershaw goes 8, retires the side in order, but goes out losing 2-0. world can Kershaw have an earned run average against the Giants in his career and be 7-3? Earned run average of 1.3. Well, tonight he's allowed 2 runs, 6 hits, no walks, struck out 10, and he's losing 2-0. Although in good humor, as Rick Honeycutt, the pitching coach, talks to him. Meanwhile, Madison Bumgarner is coming off a gem. His last outing, he beat Washington 6-1. He went the distance, allowing only 5 hits. And here he is in the bottom of the 8th now. A.J. Ellis, then Juan Uribe. Strike. A.J. has struck out twice. He has company. Ethier has struck out twice. Mark Ellis has struck out twice. Kershaw made 109 pitches. Time. Two runs, 6 hits for the Giants, no runs, 4 hits for the Dodgers. Pablo Sandoval has driven in both runs for San Francisco. Angel Pagan has scored both runs, and that's it. Plus, in capital letters, Madison Bumgarner. 1-2. So Kershaw struck out 10. Bumgarner has struck out 8. Bumgarner's pitch count now, he's at 108. His high this year, 117. In his young career, he once pitched a game where he made 124. 2-2. In talking about pitch counts, it certainly puts the spotlight on the Washington Nationals and Steven Strasburg. Strasburg, a phenomenal pitcher who had Tommy John surgery, and they say that they're going to stop him somewhere between 160 innings and 180 innings, somewhere in there. It is a highly debatable subject in baseball circles, and especially in the nation's capital. Line drive, speared by Scutaro. A.J. Ellis losing a sure base hit. Great play by Marco. He'll go up the ladder and spear it. That's as hard a hit ball as the Dodgers have hit tonight. And here now is Juan Uribe. So Kershaw, another brilliant effort, fouled away. Juan Uribe. Remember opening day, his first day as a Dodger against the Giants and Tim Lincecum. And Lincecum hit him on the elbow. And he's been wearing a patch on that elbow ever since. We'll see Tim tomorrow night. 1-1. Lincecum with a record of 6-13. One of the big mysteries of the year. A 2-time Cy Young Award winner, struggling. And Young, that's a strike. Uribe, coming off the bench as a pinch hitter, is 1 for 11. 2-2. Uribe in the past, which would be last year, was 3 for 10 against Bumgarner. Waiting on deck, Shane Victorino. Two 6-1 for the Giants, 0-4-0 for the Dodgers. One out, bottom of the 8th. Got him. A 91-mile-an-hour fastball. It was also his 117th pitch. So you can throw over 90 on 117 pitches by a big league hitter. You get your 9th strikeout. Sergio Romo has been the closer for the Giants when they lost Brian Wilson. So we'll expect to see Romo. Line foul, broken bat, 0-1 the count. Romo is up right now. Casilla is the 9th inning man. So it'll either be Romo or Casilla, but Bumgarner, meanwhile, pitching a gem, coming off a complete game. I mean, there aren't very many major league pitchers in this day and age that have back-to-back complete games. I doubt he will have one because his pitch count now is up to 116. 0-2. It has really been a remarkable game, certainly in this area. Neither pitcher has walked a batter. One hit batter, breaking ball that got Rivera on the foot. Popped in the air, foul, Belt coming over, no play. Boy, there's a play on that kangaroo. 0-2. Bumgarner trying to win his 14th. He would be 14-7. He's now made 120 pitches. Two out, 8th inning, 2-0 Giants. Dodgers have been shut out 10 times this year, 4 times at Dodger Stadium. But Dodger Stadium of late has not been home sweet home for the Dodgers, anything but. Remember, they came in here tonight after a fine road trip. They won 7 out of 10. But they've lost 9 of the last 14 at home. One and two. Wow. A marvelous 8 innings. Each pitcher, somebody had to give, and tonight it was the Dodgers and Kershaw. 2-0 Giants heading for the 9th. Very well played game. Case in point, Sandoval, a flare base hit. Victorino throw to the plate, and Pagan just does get in there. The door is open, and he gets by the tag on the hand by A.J. Ellis. The other run was a fly ball to left where Pagan tagged up. And again, in that moment, it was a fly ball hit by Sandoval. So now Pagan can rest, and Ronald Belisario will pick up. Tell you how rare this game has been tonight. You have two starting pitchers. Neither pitcher walked a batter. They each went 8 innings. They each struck out 10. So Belisario now will try to get Sandoval, Posey, and Pence. Strike. Sandoval, a sacrifice fly, grounded into a double play, and single. Driving in both runs. Off the plate, 1-1. Sandoval 1 for 7 against Belisario. Down in the Dodger bullpen, Randy Choate. One and two. With Sandoval, especially hitting left-handed, that's when you're dealing with his power. 7 of his 8 home runs hit left-handed. One and two. Down he goes. So 11 Giants have struck out. Belisario picks up 1. That makes 4 of the last 5 Giant batters have struck out. Belt, Blanco, Bumgarner, Pagan. Scutaro grounded out, and then Sandoval strikes out. Here's Posey, 0 for 3. He's ahead in 1 hit at least in 7 straight Giant Dodger games. Robbed of a hit tonight on a diving stop by Cruz, who then got up and threw him out. In there, 1-1. Posey 0 for 4 in the past against Belisario. One and two. Ronald Belisario has 45 strikeouts, 19 walks. Came in and threw 95. Posey tonight struck out in the first inning, robbed of a hit in the 4th, struck out again in the 6th. That was a big out that came with runners at first and third. So for Posey, he strikes out 3 times tonight. 2 strikeouts for Belisario. 12 Giants have struck out, but they're still leading 2-0. You know, tomorrow, Fernando Valenzuela bobblehead night, and fans with the first 50,000 tickets can take home their very own mini El Toro, celebrating his no-hitter in 1990. Compliments of State Farm. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. Hunter Pence has popped up, fly to right, foul to short, 0 for 3. Giants scored in the first and again in the sixth. Dodgers, meanwhile, have gotten 2 men to third. Rivera in the second inning and Victorino in the sixth. Though Bumgarner has been absolutely magnificent. He had to beat Kershaw. So all Belisario does is come in and strike out the side. 13 Giants have struck out, but they lead 2-0. Good night to Mr. Bumgarner. Inning. Tomorrow night, Tim Lincecum trying somehow to turn his year around. He'll go up against Joe Blanton. Lincecum is 6-13. Blanton is 8-11. And then game 3 of the series, Matt Cain and left-hander Chris Capuano. So we'll see about the question of Lincecum. Meanwhile, Bruce Bochy rearranges the infield a little bit. Joaquin Arias moves from short to third. Brandon Crawford takes over at short. And Sergio Romo comes out of the pen instead of Santiago Casilla, who normally closes. So Romo will be facing Mark Ellis, Matt Kemp, and Hanley Ramirez. That's a pretty tough assignment. Mark Ellis has struck out twice, then hit a sinking line drive to right field, and a fine diving catch by Hunter Pence took a base hit away from him. Sergio Romo. His father, Francisco, better known as Frank, born as a Mexican farm laborer, immigrated to the United States. Eventually, the family would drive to Stockton and Salinas, pick lettuce, tomatoes, and grapes. Talk about a long shot. Here he is, Sergio Romo. His father played semi-pro ball in Mexicali. They eventually moved to Brawley, and Sergio used to come here after watching his dad play amateur games. Good breaking ball. It's usually one slider after another. 0-2. Romeo got his first glove when he was 2, and he says he still has it. And he started pitching when he was 8 years old. 0-2 to Ellis. Mark hitting .254. Another slider. Romo 3-2, an earned run average under 2. He has 5 saves, 10 walks, 44 strikeouts. One and two. Two and two. After a while, I'm sure if you're a hitter and you have Matt Kemp on deck, all you think about is a slider. Romo, 5'11", about 185 pounds, 29 years old. Went to Mesa State in Colorado. 2 and 2. Fastball got him. After all the sliders, he comes with a fastball at the knees. So down goes Ellis. He strikes out for the third time. 11 Dodgers have struck out tonight. So we've got 24 strikeouts tonight and no walks. That makes this really a rather memorable game. Matt Kemp fly to center, grounded to short, struck out. Fastball, Brandon Crawford, and the Dodgers are not only down to their last out, they are 1 out away from moving out of first place again.
Shortstop number 13, Hanley Ramirez.
You get the feeling, the way each team plays, not only against each other, but how they play all this year. Those 3 games, October 1, 2, and 3 here, I mean, that could be for the whole thing. Well, you talk about stress. If it gets down to that, these players will really know about it. That's a strike. Ramirez flied to center, struck out, grounded out. 2 runs, 6 hits, 1 error for the Giants. No runs, 4 hits, no errors for the Dodgers. Kershaw and Bumgarner tonight. Bumgarner right now a chance to win and Kershaw to lose. Sergio not quite ready. Sergio threw nothing but sliders to Mark Ellis, and then when he had him 2 and 2, threw his only fastball for strike 3. One and one to Hanley. A.J. Ellis, Adam Kennedy, Mark Ellis. 1 and 1. 1 and 2. Dodgers had a great road trip. 1, 2 out of 3 in Miami. 1, 3 out of 4 in Pittsburgh. 1, 2 out of 3 out of Atlanta. Come home in first place, and the Giants have shut them down so far. 2 out in the 9th. If the Dodgers lose, they will have lost 10 of the last 15 at Dodger Stadium. Slider and a high fly ball to deep left field. Gone. That makes it 2-1 Giants. Hanley Ramirez gets the Dodgers on the scoreboard with 2 out in the 9th inning. For Hanley, his 19th home run, 76 runs batted in, and now with Andre Ethier coming up, they'll go to the pen again, and they have left-hander Javi Lopez ready. For Romo, who was beaten by a home run late in the game when the Dodgers were in San Francisco. That's only the 4th home run that he has allowed. But he's out. Lopez in. We'll be back. Run to Hanley Ramirez. Hanley's 19th. Romo's only his 4th. So it's 2-1 Giants with 2 out in the 9th inning. And Javi Lopez is brought in to pitch to Andre Ethier. Andre Ethier tonight has struck out twice and reached on an error, but he has a big job, and I'll tell you why. Since Javi Lopez came to the Giants in 2010, he has been the toughest left-hand pitcher to face as a left-handed batter in the National League. You know what left-handers are hitting against him? 146. And a strike. Well, it was a little late. Hanley Ramirez hitting the home run against Sergio Romo. You may remember the last week in July, in the 10th inning, Hanley hit a home run to beat Sergio Romo. Fouled away. 0-2. Now you talk about stress, and then you see Javier Lopez. Javier Lopez has a degree in psychology from the University of Virginia, and his wife has topped him. She earned a doctorate in psychology from the University of Tennessee. So if anybody figures to be able to handle the stress, it might be Javi Lopez. Oh, 2. Ball 1. Ethier is 1 for 7 against Lopez. That would be a 143 batting average. 2 runs, 6 hits for the Giants. 1 run, 5 hits for the Dodgers. 1-2. Little ground ball to Belt. He will take it to the bag. So the Dodgers get a home run in the 9th inning. Ramirez against Romo, but this time it just gets them close. It doesn't beat Romo. And the Giants get back into first place. So they have tied 6 times. They have now changed 5 times and 4 times since the 15th of August. And tomorrow night, we'll see if it's moving day or night for the Giants. It'll be Tim Lincecum and Joe Blanton. Stay tuned now for Dodgers Live coming up next. Good night, everybody.